Okay, good day everyone. Thank you for having me in this opportunity. First of all, before we get deep into this presentation, please allow me to introduce myself first. My name is Evan Mulya Simbolon and I'm an undergraduate student majoring in Information System and I'm from class 2024C. In today's opportunity, I'm going to present my review of an academic paper titled Risk Assessment and Risk Management, review of the recent advance on their foundation that written by Terje Evan and published in the European Journal of Operational Research in 2016. In this presentation, I will discuss the fundamental concept of risk assessment, recent developments in risk management, and how these concepts are applied in real-world situations. So without further ado, let's begin. First, let's look at the background. Risk assessment and risk management are actually relatively young in the academic field, formally developing only around 30 to 40 years ago. However, the idea of evaluating risks before making decisions has existed for more than 2400 years, even in ancient Athens that practiced in the similar concept. During the 70s and the 80s, this field grew rapidly with the emergence of new methods and approach. In today, risk management is applied in across almost every sector, including IT, industry, healthcare, finance, transportation, and even national security. So there's two major tasks in this field. First task is conducting risk assessment for specific activities, such as factory operation or investment. And the second is conducting broader research on the concept itself, the theories, and the risk methodologies. The paper that we review mainly focus on the second area, which is the conceptual foundation of the risk itself. So, what is the purpose of this paper? This paper aims basically to review recent development in risk studies, especially over the last 10 to 15 years. To over 10 to 15 years, the focus is not on the technical methods, but rather on the fundamental ideas that shape the field itself. This paper also promotes what it calls integrative thinking, which is mean understanding tension between different perspectives and using them to create better insight to the organization. So let's continue to the basic concept of the risk. According to the Society for Risk Analysis in 2015, there are several qualitative definitions of risks. However, all of them agree that risk always involves two main elements: consequence, which is consequence, and uncertainty. One of the most important concepts in this paper is the triplets model, which is G, Q, and K. C in this idea is representing the possible consequence, and Q representing the uncertainty measures, usually probability, and the K is refers to the background knowledge that support the assessment itself. This model is more complete than simply relying on the probability because it also considers how strong the knowledge behind the assessment actually is. Next is risk matrix overview. After understanding what risk is, the next question is how do we measure it? There are several most commonly used metrics, but the most basic formula is risk equals probability multiplied by severity. By that by that formula, then we have the three metrics that we can expect. The first one is expected loss, which is the calculated average of expected loss by summing the probability times consequence across all scenarios. In finance, we also often use value at risk or VAR, which estimates maximum loss at specific confidence levels such as 95%. There is also GVAR, or what we call it conditional value at risk, which measure average loads beyond the FAR threshold. However, this paper and the weather itself remind us that expected value alone is not enough. In two situations may have the same expected loss, but very different levels of uncertainty, and that matters greatly in the decision making. Next is risk assessment process. So how do risk assessment actually conducted? Based on this paper and ISO 31000 and other international standard, the process consists of 6 steps. The first step is establishing context, which is defining objective, scope, and evaluation criteria. The second step is in identifying risks by finding hazards, threats, and opportunities using tools like HAZOP, FMEA, or checklist. In the third step, in the third step, analyzing causes the consequence through the methods such as fault tree analysis, event tree analysis, or even Bayesian networks. In the fourth step, there's a describing risks based on the likelihood and the consequence. And the fifth step is how we evaluating how significant those risks are. And the finally is risk treatment, which is deciding what action should be taken. Importantly, this process is not linear, it's a cyclical and requires continuous monitoring and improvement. The next slide is uncertainty in risk assessment. There are two main types of uncertainty. First, which is aleatory uncertainty, which come from natural randomness that cannot be eliminated, such as weather condition or dice outcomes. And the second uncertainty is epistemic uncertainty, which is come from limited knowledge and can be potentially be reduced through more data or the more research. The more approach of this research, which is Bayesian subjective probability. However, alternatives such as interval probability, possibility theory, and evidence theory are also useful when assigning a single probability value is difficult. There's also strengths knowledge, which is evaluating confidence in the knowledge and its application. And also there's decision-making model, which is framework to guiding evidence to knowledge and evaluation. So how do risks in how does risks influence decision making? There are three main approaches that we can use the organization can use to approach risk this risk through the management strategy. And the first one is risk informed strategy, where decisions are based on assessment results through the avoidance, reduction, transfer, or retention. And the second one is precautionary strategy, which is used when uncertainty is extremely high. The principle here is to prevent even when scientific and evidence is complete. The third one is discursive strategy. What is discursive approach strategy? The strategy focus on the building trust through the transparency and stakeholder involvement. The discursive approach incorporates the diverse perspective and encourages open discussion among stakeholders, facilitating informed decision making and enhancing the understanding of complex risk scenario. Next is two advanced concepts discussed in this paper are robustness and resilience. In this paper, robustness refers to a system ability to remain effective despite uncertainty or changing condition. Instead of finding a solution that is optimal in one scenario, we look for solution that perform reasonably well across many scenarios. And the second one is resilience, is the ability to recover after the disruption. According to Holnagel, resilience involves four ability: respond, monitor, anticipate, and learn. Then there's a concept of anti-fragility, where systems do not just survive disruptions, they actually become stronger because of disruption itself. The fourth one is adaptive risk management. Traditional risk assessment often assumes systems are linear and stable, but in the real world systems are usually complex and dynamic. This is where adaptive risk management becomes important. The idea is simple: no single decision works forever. Organizations make decisions, monitor outcomes, and continuously adjust their strategy. And the last one is deep uncertainty and black swan. One of the most fascinating topic in this paper is deep uncertainty and black swan events. Deep uncertainty happen when reliable probability models cannot be built because data is unavailable or the event has never ever happened before. The future trends in the risk of management. So where is risk management heading in the future? This paper highlights several major challenges, which is first, there's a shift from focusing from precise risk estimation toward understanding knowledge limitation and uncertainty. The second, dynamic risk assessment will likely replace static approach. And the third one is emerging risks and interconnected infrastructure require more flexible frameworks. And finally, communicating risks effectively to stakeholders remains a major challenge. Next one is critical analysis. As a critical reviewers, we also need to evaluate this paper objectively. Its biggest strength is comprehensive scope, covering more than 80 important references from multiple disciplines. This paper successfully integrates perspectives that were previously fragmented. However, there's also limitation. The paper relies heavily on its writer on previous research and is highly conceptual with limited empirical evidence. Some recommendations also are quite abstract and difficult to implement directly. Next one is case example, COVID-19. COVID-19 impact. Let's see how these concepts apply in the real world through the supply chain risk management during COVID-19. During COVID-19, global supply chain disruptions clearly demonstrated deep uncertainty. Why? Because the impact that COVID-19 caused is so devastating, especially in physical organization or enterprise, because the supply chain is basically disruption because the limitation of transportation across every global nation. But how do company manage to make a risk assessment according to this COVID-19? Companies respond by diversifying suppliers, building inventory buffers, and adopting nearshoring strategy. By using this paper framework, organization can systematically address disruption risks and improve resilience. So the concept discussed in this paper are highly practical across industry, even when there's disruption happen, which is COVID-19. Conclusion and key insights. So to conclude, there are several key insights from this presentation that we can assess. The first is risk assessment and management continue to evolve, and their foundation still needs strength. Second one is integrative thinking is essential. We need to combine different perspectives rather than choosing only one. And the third one is risk-informed strategies. Resilience and managerial judgment must work together. And most importantly, understanding what we do not know can be more valuable than simply calculating the numbers. Uh, Thank you for joining me in this opportunity to presentation about reviewing the recent advance of risk assessment, management, and studies. For further reference, we can see this reference and key authors. Thank you and good day.